In this video, we'll explore how to analyze quantitative data for your research study. We'll start with a disclaimer that this is a very quick overview of analyzing quantitative data. There are many semester-long statistics and research courses about collecting and analyzing data. This video will address the topic of analyzing quantitative data in just very general terms. Let's start with defining quantitative data. Quantitative data deal with numbers, things that can be measured or counted. Quantitative data can come from a variety of sources. They can come from surveys like the one you've done in this course. Educators are familiar with the quantitative data of scores from high-stakes tests, but quantitative data can also come from other sources, such as government reports and websites, or observations. For example, you can observe and count student behavior, like how often girls raise their hand in science class. Quantitative data can be analyzed to identify trends and patterns. Quantitative data are also used to measure change, to make comparisons, and to describe relationships. When you're analyzing quantitative data, there are actually two different types of statistics: descriptive and inferential. Descriptive statistics are numbers that describe your participants and their responses. For example, descriptive statistics would be something like 70% of the respondents were female and 30% are male. Or 55 agreed with the statement that charter schools are effective. 40% disagreed and 5% were unsure. Descriptive statistics are mostly percentages and numbers. Alternatively, there are inferential statistics. Inferential statistics are when you're making inferences or generalizations about a large population from a smaller sample size. For inferential statistics to be reliable and accurate, you need a large enough sample size. For this course, you'll not survey enough people to draw inferences from your data or make those types of generalizations. Finally, when you're doing analysis for inferential statistics, it generally requires sophisticated mathematical computations. For example, you might need to calculate levels of significance, statistical power, or correlations. When you're at that level of analysis for your dissertation, for example, it would be helpful to use a statistical software program like SPSS, where you input all the numbers and the program does the number crunching for you. That level of analysis is really outside the scope of this class. So what type of analysis will you do for this class? You'll be utilizing descriptive statistics that are very straightforward. You're going to get your statistics right from SurveyMonkey. It would be easier to analyze the data if you could put it all in one document. Since we're using a free version of SurveyMonkey, you'll need to take a few steps to extract the participant responses. First, go to SurveyMonkey and go to My Survey. Once you're in SurveyMonkey, find the name of your survey and then go to the column that says Analyze. Then click on the icon that looks like a graph. You can scroll down for any survey items that are multiple choice. You get a graph first, and if you scroll down, you'll get a table. And what we need to do is to copy this table. So I'm just going to click and drag to highlight, and then I'm going to choose Copy. And then I will go into a blank Word document and choose Paste. And then the survey results are in there. It might be easier to keep track of the responses if you also copy and paste in the original questions. The data analysis template will help you align your results with your research questions. Let's take a look at a template that's been partially completed based off of data from a student who took this class in a previous semester. As you can see up top, we have each of Rebecca's 3 research questions entered. Under each question is first the quantitative data from the survey that helps to answer each research question. For example, Rebecca's first question was, what do people perceive as the role of schools in educating students about LGBTQ students? Below the question are the data from the survey related to the participants' perceptions of the roles of school. Her second question was, what do educators and students report about how LGBTQ students are treated in school? And below are the figures from her survey that help to answer that question. You may have questions on your survey that don't directly answer a research question, but may help to describe the participants. For example, you may have asked your participants how long they've been teaching. In your final paper, you can use that data in the section that describes who participated in the study rather than in the section where you are answering research questions. This has been a very brief overview of how to analyze quantitative data. You should move on next to looking at the video about analyzing qualitative data.